What is up, my dashing dudes? I am the Hans TV, and oh boy, today is a doozy, because today we're diving right back in to r/StoriesAboutKevin. Our first Kevin for the day comes to us courtesy of Bib. Kevins come in all sizes. Back when I was in grade school, one of my classmates was a Kevin. Now, you might say that would be normal for someone in that age, not to be very smart. But what he did clearly shows that he had no comprehension of basic human behavior. He did a lot of small, stupid things, but there was one incident that solidified him as a Kevin in my book. But I think to get a better understanding of the level of Kevin we're dealing with, I should tell you some minor incidents first. Kevin once ripped the sink off the wall in the school's bathroom. The bathroom was closed for close to 5 months. When they finally opened back up again, they had forgotten to install the doorknob, so we couldn't even enter it for another 3. Not Kevin's fault. Probably. Kevin once got stuck in a tree during first period. He couldn't get down again, so the janitor had to get the ladder. He then went to class for the 10 minutes that were remaining. He didn't come back for second period because he had gotten stuck up in the same tree again. Apparently, it's because it wasn't that high. I bet you I could get down this time. Kevin once got a perfect 0 on a standardized test. I don't know if he knew what he was doing or not, but that was impressive. He once hit another kid with a pair of bongos. During PE, Kevin once refused to do push-ups, so the teacher busted out the good old Geneva Conventions breaking collective punishment. For every time Kevin refused to do push-ups, everyone else had to do them. I don't know if Kevin was just bad at body language, or towards the end, bad at verbal language, but we had to do something like 70 push-ups total, while Kevin got off without breaking a sweat. People were not very fond of him the days after. Kevin and his friends once decided that the best idea would be to play basketball inside of the classroom with a pair of scissors. Don't ask me how, but the Kevin gang managed to completely wreck the classroom, and the scissor ball match only ended when one of the burlier Kevins managed to lodge the scissors so deep within the drywall that they couldn't get it back out. Kevin once tripped the fire alarm 5 times in the span of 2 hours. During camp, the Kevins decided that it would be a genius idea to have a water balloon fight in their room. All their stuff got wet. The next day, I saw them gearing up for round 2 before the teachers eventually confiscated the rubber gloves that they had been filling up with water. Kevin didn't know the alphabet, and he didn't know what sound the letter P made. Kevin prided himself with being the fastest at math. He was not good at it. He could barely multiply, but damn was he fast. He was so proud when he turned in that paper and got a big fat 0. He didn't care as long as he turned in that paper, filled with answers that weren't even remotely close the fastest. All of this might sound like brain farts ranging on a scale from minor to major, but nothing beats the sheer stupidity this Kevin once managed to perform. Now sit back and behold, sheer stupidity. During English class, we had to do a book report. We could choose any book we wanted as long as it was more than 150 pages long. Kevin, may God have mercy on his stupid ass, didn't know what to write about, so he went about the classroom looking over the shoulders of every student for inspiration. Finally, he came to a halt, and his eyes fell upon my report. I decided to write about Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, seeing as I had just finished it the day prior. Kevin's jaw dropped to the floor. "You can't write about that," he screamed. "That's a movie. That's not a book." I turned to him and explained, "Many movies are based on books. I'm doing the report on the book, not the movie." I gestured to the book that laid upon the table in front of me. Kevin, now more confused than ever, shouted, "No, you're not. There is no way you could have read that book that quickly. If you can make a book report on a movie, so can I." I think you see where this is going. The day had finally come. Students lining up single file to turn in their book reports. I turned in my report, my eyes searching for Kevin's. I wanted to see how it turned out. I found it quickly, and I couldn't help but laugh. Laugh and be frustrated at Kevin's stupidity. You see, this man whose IQ was lower than his number of chromosomes, this deflated balloon of a child who had stored away knowledge about sports instead of basic logic, this bundle of sheer stupidity had turned in a report on Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2. And he hadn't even written a report. All he had turned in was a badly traced picture of the DVD cover. It seemed like he had tried coloring the drawing in with crayons, but stopped when he realized that Spider-Man's eyes are indeed not red, but white. This might not sound that bad, but when you consider he had those 2 weeks to think this through, and that he then decided that this would be the best course of action, infuriates me. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I have no comment on that one. So we're going to move right into the next story, which is given to us by Pink Raven 1, Covina versus Stairs. Covina moved houses and was feeling like she wasn't pulling her weight. So when her husband brought the sofa in and left it to go get more, she decided to take the sofa down a flight of stairs alone. She thought that gravity would help. She positioned the sofa at the top of the stairs and let it slide down the stairs. As the sofa got to the bottom, she realized that they were L-shaped and it got stuck. She tried to get the sofa over the bottom of the banister, but it wouldn't budge. She noticed a small hole under the sofa and slid under and tried it from the other side. She broke a mop trying to use it to lift the sofa up. Nothing worked, so she left the sofa jammed, and the only way down the stairs was to slide down the wall and go under the sofa. Her husband came home, laughed, and helped her move the sofa. The once white wall was covered in black marks, and it was a rental. The sofa is also ruined. Luckily, her husband is a chilled out guy. The next day, Covina was annoyed because she didn't want to empty boxes. She went down the stairs with a handful of clothes and forgot that the stairs were slippy. She fell and landed on her side. Now Covina is covered in bruises and realizes that someone with walking issues really shouldn't rent a house with wooden stairs. I'm Covina, and I have the bruises to prove it. Well, alright then, we all like a bit of a twist ending, don't we? This leads us to our next post. Dr. Don't. Kevin eats raw chicken. My brother is a Kevin, and let me tell you the story. One day while we were on holiday in Australia, you know, the place that doesn't exist, wink, and Kevin decides that he wants to have a midnight snack. So he gets up and gets a cold chicken tendy out of the fridge. But the problem was that unlike most chicken tenders, they were raw. So he takes his first bite and it has the texture of jelly, and it does not taste good. So he takes 2 more bites before thinking, maybe this is raw, and puts it in the trash before going to bed and not telling anyone. The next day we went to Movie World, where he had 4 diarrhea attacks, then came out completely fine because apparently the raw chicken went right through him. Moral of the story, my brother has a brick for the stomach. Your brother's an absolute genius, IQ 270, no big deal. Our next post comes from It's Not Me, Grad School Kevin and London Fog. This happened 13 years ago when I was in graduate school getting my master's in criminology with a Kevin. He used to argue with the teachers because he was an older student, in his 60s, and felt that young people were inherently stupid. My legal studies professor, who was in his 30s, was talking about street crime in the US versus street crime in the UK. Kevin wrongly argues that there's more violent crime in London, and my teacher, disagreeing with him, played along and asked why he thought that. Kevin says, "Because of the fog." When probed for more intro, he said that London is foggy, so people lurk in the fog more to stab people. My teacher counters with the fact that gun violence is much more probable than stabbing, and Kevin doubles down saying he can kill anyone faster than a pen than anyone else could with a gun. My professor just moved on, but we were definitely all stupider having heard that exchange. Shoulda hit him with a good old okay boomer. Our final post for the day comes from Oxymoron9876, my roommate, Covina. I live together with my sister and another roommate, who's definitely a Covina. We live in an apartment with a lot of windows. It heats up like crazy in the summer. Because of the heat, Covina had bought a fan to put in her room. We live in Europe. There is no AC. Oof, that sucks. One morning, she had already gone to work when I noticed the fan in her room was still on. I thought she probably forgot and I turned it off. The next day, the same thing happened. That evening, she was mad at me for turning it off. She texted me, "Covina, why the fuck did you turn off the fan in my room? It's super hot in here." Me, it actually doesn't make the house any colder. It feels colder because of the wind, but the temperature won't drop. It's only useful when you're around. It just uses electricity all day. Covina, yeah, it makes the house colder. I can feel the difference. Me, you can feel the difference when? Covina, when I'm in my room and it's on. Me, because you're next to the fan? Covina, yeah, it makes the room cool down. Me, how could it make the house any colder? You feel it because of the wind it creates. It doesn't change the temperature. Covina, how can you explain that I feel cold then when I turn it on? How the fuck am I supposed to know? Me, yeah, because when you turn it on, you're next to it and you feel the wind. When you're gone and no one is in your room, it's entirely useless because it doesn't make the temperature drop. Covina, yes it is, OMG, you're so stupid. This problem continued the entire summer. She just won't understand. We've had multiple arguments about this. A true Covina. Well, alright my dashing dudes, I believe that is enough lost brain cells for the day, and we're gonna end r/StoriesAboutKevin here. If you like the stories, I'll link them down in the description below as always. And if you like the video, feel free to subscribe, drop a like, and a comment down below with what you'd like to see me read next. A humongous thank you to everyone who's subscribed in the past few months. It makes me so happy to see that y'all are enjoying my content. And a huge thank you to my patrons, because y'all are really helping me get through this. But with that being said, I will see you in the next video.